I'm Isaac Carr, an attorney with CCSK Law. I'm here with an update talking about the stay-at-home order for Indiana businesses. What does that mean? All right, Governor Holcomb this morning came on, said there's a stay-at-home order. Everybody must stay home except when you don't have to. Now, I'll say that obviously this is something to take seriously. The virus itself, something we must be considering in all the actions that we take. But does that mean I have to shut down my business? All right, what does that truly mean for my business? All right, and that's what I'm going to go into, the realistic aspects of what this means for your business, because right now it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it might. The big title that you're seeing in the media, the big title that's coming about saying, no, you must stay, everybody must stay home. It's not that drastic. I want to make sure that we're not overreacting when it comes to what that means for your business. All right. Now, this is Executive Order 2008 that was just released, and it says that for all business and operations in the state of Indiana, except for essential businesses and operations, are hereby required to cease all activities within the state, except for minimum basic operations. All right, for purposes of clarity, businesses, which include home-based businesses, may also continue operations consisting exclusively of employees or contractors performing activities in their own homes or residence. Right off the bat, within the definition, they already exclude home-based businesses and other types of businesses where people are not interacting, where people are able to work from home, whether that's contractors or employees. Your business can still operate in that function. And as much as possible, again, to help prevent the spread of the virus, if people are able to work from home, try to encourage that as much as possible. There's a lot of tips and tasks that you can do to help incentivize employees to work properly from home. That's maybe something we can talk about later. In the meantime, we're going to focus on, however, there are exceptions to this that are, one, either an essential business or operation, or two, minimum basic operations. Let's talk about what those mean. All right. The first one is going to be a long list of what's considered essential businesses and operations. In the media, you're going to see a shortened list. Even the Twitter that was put out this morning had only a short list that included the grocery stores and healthcare services and doctors' offices. But the list is actually a little bit longer. So if you're one of these businesses, this right here is still considered an essential business and operation. So for the purposes of this executive order, right, these are included in here. We have stores that sell groceries and medicine, obviously still included. These grocery stores, pharmacies, certified farmers markets, supermarkets, convenience stores, other establishments engaged in retail sale of groceries, canned foods, goods. These are all things that are going to be continued, that you are able to have stores that sell the groceries and medicine, and other non-grocery products such as safety, sanitation, and other essential operations for residents. You're okay. Food, beverage, and agriculture, food and beverage manufacturing, production, processing, cultivation, farming, livestock, fishing, baking, other productions in agriculture, such as cultivating, marketing, production, and distribution of animals and goods for consumptions, and businesses that provide food, shelter, and other necessities for lives of animals and animal shelters, rescues, shelters, kennels. These are all still okay. Again, we still need to survive as a society. At this point, we're not shutting down what it means to get your chain of anything within the food supply. So it's not just the grocery stores, but anything that's a supplier within that as well is still considered essential. Organizations that provide charitable or social services, food banks, anything that's providing food, shelter, social services that for the necessity of life for economically disadvantaged or people with disabilities, you're still essential. All right, you can still function. Religious entities. So these are they've obviously incentivized religious entities to refrain from having too large of groups together, but that doesn't mean they need to stop functioning. The media has been given a pass on this as well. They're considered essential in terms of newspapers, television, radio, and other media services. Gas stations and other businesses needed for transportation. Financial and insurance institutions are considered essential. That's banks, currency exchanges, consumer lenders, including but not limited to credit unions and pawnbrokers, people giving bonds, and financial institutions that are selling financial products. Also, insurance companies. These are all things that are still exceptions, that I should say are considered essential. Hardware and supply stores. Hardware and supply stores that sell electrical, plumbing, and heating material. Again, I'm going through the list of what's considered essential business, where this stay-at-home order that Governor Holcomb passed and said, hey, everybody must stay at home. What does this mean for your business? Again, I'm going through this list of things that are considered essential businesses that may still function. All right, and so if you fall within one of these, again, you are not required to stop all work. You still need to make sure that your employees and contractors can work at home from as much as possible, and that you're practicing social distancing whenever you do have people come in. But again, you don't need to shut down and stop working. Again, we're going through this list here. Critical trades: building, construction, other trades, including but not limited to plumbers, electricians, exterminators, engineers, cleaning and janitorial staff for commercial and government properties, security staff, HVAC, painting and moving and relocation services, and other things that are necessary for maintaining the safety, sanitation, and essential operations of residents. And critical trades: if you're a builder, if you are a builder or a plumber, electrician, somebody within that field, you are still considered essential. Moving on: mail, post, shipping, logistics, delivery, pickups, basically anything that's shipping or moving goods or food or anything like that. You are okay. You can continue in operations. Educational institutions. For the purposes of facilitating distance learning, performing critical researches, and essential functions, provided that social distancing of the 6 feet per person is still maintained. So there are some other things that are going on with regard to schools and educational institutions that you might need to keep an eye on if you are an educational institution. But generally speaking, it's not complete shutdown. Laundry services is next. Laundry services, this is laundromats, dry cleaners, industrial laundry services. These are still able to function. And so if you provide laundry services as a business in Indiana, you are still considered essential. All right, there is a lot on restaurants. You can still do dine out and, you can still do takeout and delivery. The dine-in is what has a lot of restrictions going on with it right now. Again, I'm not going to dive deep into that on this video. Instead, I'm going to stick with this list of businesses which are still considered essential. So when Governor Holcomb this morning said, hey, all businesses must shut down and stay at home, I'm giving you the list of some of these that are exceptions, and I'm reading from the executive order itself. So this is still things that are considered exceptions. Again, the premise here is everybody needs to stay at home unless you fall into these wide range of categories. And so I'm giving you a heads up on what you are still able to do. All right. Now, supplies to work from home. So businesses that sell, manufacture, or supply products that are needed for people to work from home. All right. So this is going to be supply stores, office supply stores. These are all going to be things that are necessary for people to work from home. So they're still going to be okay. This includes also supplies for essential business operations. So this is things that are with the supportive materials necessary to operate, including computers, audio, video electronics, household appliances, IT and telecommunications equipment, hardware, paint, flat glass, electrical, plumbing. This is food additives. These are chemicals, soaps, detergents, basically supplies for essential business operations to be able to continue functioning. So these are still some services, some businesses that can function, right? I'm giving you the warning to not shut down your business just because of what Governor Holcomb said this morning. Again, we are to respect what is going on out there with regard to this virus, practice social distancing, but the stay-at-home order does not mean that all businesses need to shut down. So I'm kind of giving you a heads up right now of some of these businesses that are on this list that are still able to function. All right, that it's not shutdown time, that some of this is still okay to be able to work, right, while still respecting what's going on out there with regard to the virus. So we've gone over some of the really important ones so far, including obviously the grocery stores and things that provide medicine, agriculture, right? Farmers, you're still functioning, you're still providing food and supplies. Organizations providing charitable and social services, you're still good. You can still provide those essential services. Religious entities, again, there's some other stuff going on with that where they've made recommendations for not too large of gathering, but just because you're a religious entity doesn't mean you're shutting down. All right, media is still good. Newspaper, television, radio, other media services, these are all still okay. Again, I'm reading from the executive order itself of these essential businesses. Gas stations and other businesses needed for transportation are still fine. Financial and insurance institutions, so your bank and credit union are still going to be open, including your insurance agencies. Hardware and supply stores, those are okay. Hardware stores that sell electrical, plumbing, or heating materials, there's a lot surrounding that, including critical trades, builders, contractors, right? Plumbers, electricians, exterminators, cleaning and janitorial staff, security, HVAC, painting, moving and relocation. These are all still okay. Yet I'm going back through a quick summary of some of these, but I wanted to let you know that you don't have to shut down. We talked about laundry services. Laundry services are still something that you should be providing. If you're a business that provides that, laundromats, dry cleaners, those are still can function. Again, there's a lot with restaurants. I'm not going to go into the whole restaurant thing right now, but fundamentally they can still do carry out and delivery. The other types of transportation, airlines, taxis, transportation networks such as Uber and Lyft. So if you're an Uber or Lyft driver, that is still something that's considered an essential business. Any type of boat storage, private and public commercial transportation and logistics, a lot of these logistic things are still up and running. All right, home-based care for services. So if you are giving care to adults, seniors, children, or people with disabilities, or substance use disorders or mental illnesses, those are all still okay, including caregivers such as nannies who may travel to child's home or to provide care, or other in-home services, including meal delivery. So again, that's something else that I wanted to say, that's those home-based care services are still okay, still can function. Let's see here. Residential facilities and shelters, again, all shelters, including animal shelters and things that are helping with people's basic needs, you're okay. You can continue to function. Professional services, this is a big one, obviously for us as well, right? Professional services such as legal services, accounting services, insurance services, and real estate services, including appraisal and title services. So if you were in middle of closing on a house, real estate services such as appraisal and title services do not have to shut down. Right? They do need to respect the rules that are being put in place of social distancing, or try to function with if people can work from home as much as possible. But fundamentally, your lawyers, your accountants, your insurance agencies, and your real estate services can still function. All right. So those are things that are not subject to the stay at home, that they must stay at home and shut down and cease all business. No, there's a long list of these exceptions here that I'm talking to you about, that of what the governor talked about this morning, of saying, hey, these businesses, all businesses must shut down. There's a long list of exceptions here, right? We talked first about the ones that stay home, right? The at-home businesses and contractors, those are all perfectly fine. But there's a long list of essential ones here that can still function. So you do not need to shut down your business, all right? Manufacturing, distribution, and supply chain for critical products and industries. Manufacturing companies, distributors, supply chains, companies producing essential products and services for industries such as healthcare, pharmaceutical, technology, biotech, chemicals, agriculture, waste, pickup, and disposal, food and beverage, transportation, energy. Okay, these are all still okay as well. We still need to function as a society. If you manufacture a distribution or supply chain for these critical products, you're okay. All right. Critical labor union functions. So labor unions for essential activities such as administration of health and welfare funds and personal checks. So these labor unions with the critical functions can still continue doing what they need to do. Hotels and motels. Hotels and motels, to the extent they're used for lodging, delivery, and carry-out food services, are still okay. Right, so if you run a hotel or a motel, you are okay to continue functioning here. Funeral services, funeral, mortuary, cremation, burial, all these funeral services are still functioning. All right, again, that's that list. So the list of what is considered essential businesses. You know, local approval for commercial construction, remodeling, and permits. Okay, so when you're talking about county building, that's going to be handled. So thank you, Ed. Thank you for commenting on this. Do you know if local approvals for commercial construction / remodeling and permits will still exist? All right, so county buildings right now, that's been unclear because we're trying to figure that out ourselves. County buildings have been functioning, they've been closed off to the public, but they've still been functioning. They've still been open. Now, the DMV is closed down, so what does that mean for local governments? I'll say that it's going to be handled on a case-by-case basis. If they decide to follow at the same function as what like the DMV did for the state on the state level, because I know the governor made kind of a point to say we're sending on non-essential employees to work from home or to home, and that was kind of a point of what he was trying to make of how much even the government's forcing this. But there are certain things that still need to function. Now, Ed, I'll say that in this list of exceptions of businesses that can still function, right? These are businesses that can still function even under the stay-at-home order that was just passed this morning. Even under that, critical trades are still there. We have building, construction, and other trades and services, including plumbers, electricians, exterminators. I'd say that it would be hard for them to do their job without getting that local approval. So I'm not guaranteeing that that's going to happen, and I'm not going to even say that they even thought that far. Hopefully they have, but this order is not requiring those aspects to shut down. So I'd hope that they would still have a process for local approvals to take place. All right, thank you for that question. Any other questions, please let me know on this. Again, I was going through a list of what the Governor Holcomb said this morning about stay-at-home order. What businesses still can function? Again, don't just jump straight into the media headline that says all businesses must stop. That's not the case. All right, there's still a lot of things. Basically, it's stay at home, respect social distancing, follow all these. However, here's a long list of exceptions that can still function because we're still a society that needs to function. We're still moving forward with this. Again, on that list, we included stores that sell groceries and medicine, still definitely on there. Food, beverage, and agriculture. If you're manufacturing and producing any type of food or beverage, you're still going. All agriculture is still moving forward. Organizations that provide charitable or social services are still good. Yeah, you bet. Religious entities, again, there's some stuff on religious entities as well as restaurants that's outside of this. Restaurants can still provide takeout and carry-out services, delivery services. They restricting the dine-in. I'm not going to get into it on this video right here, but that's basics of the law. Religious entities, they've incentivized them not to have big services. However, there's still a lot of organizations, a lot of great churches and other types of religious entities that are still functioning through online webcasts. And so those are still functioning. Media is an exception here, saying newspapers, television, radio, and other media services are still perfectly fine. Gas stations, they can still function. The things needed for transportation. So auto repair, still okay. You run a repair shop, you're okay. You can still continue to function. Financial institutions like banks and credit unions, hardware and supply stores. Again, we talked a little bit about the critical trades such as building and plumbers and electricians. You're still able to function. Laundry services, if you provide laundry services, you're good. Big one was the professional services. Your lawyers, accountants, insurance services, and real estate, including appraisal and title services, are still okay. What about INDOT work? So when you're talking about the Indiana Department of Transportation on this, that's going to be down to essential. Now, what is accepted for private businesses includes construction. So a lot of that construction is still an exception. Now, but however, the DMV is shut down. So if the DMV is going to be functioning at a minimum level, INDOT, I don't know if they're going to continue to have that, whether they consider that an essential function. So I know the governor is making a point out of sending everybody home to work from home or to cease operations that are not critical with regard to the state. So they might end up shutting that down. But if you follow what they're saying for private businesses, those types of construction can still go. I think there's a lot of intergovernment agency coordination that still probably needs to be fleshed out. This is so fast moving that I don't know if they have a lot of these answers on this. Again, hotels and motels, you're still good. Funeral services are still good. So those are some of the things that are going to be all right to continue to function. The other thing, if you do not fall into one of these exceptions, All right, if you're not a lawyer or an accountant, or you're not at a bank, or you're not a transportation, or you don't fall into, because even Uber and Lyft still okay. Uber and Lyft still okay. If a lot of these things, if you don't fall into any of these exceptions, well, then what about your business? Minimum basic operations is the second exception. All right. So we're talking about there's two big exceptions from what is considered the stay-at-home order for your business. All right. First one being an essential service, and I just went through that whole list. All right. And then none of this includes the stay-at-home businesses or the at-home contractors. None of that's included. But there's that whole list. So those don't have anything to do with the stay-at-home because you're already home. But the exception, that whole list of exceptions that I just went through, those are still okay to function. The other one is minimum basic operations. So as long as you're respecting the social distancing, the 6 foot, right? Minimum necessary activities to maintain the value of the business's inventory, preserve the condition of physical plant and equipment, ensure security, process payroll and employee benefits or related functions, as well as minimum necessary activities to facilitate employees of the business being able to continue to work remotely from their residences. All right, so there's some minimum basic operations that even if you're not in one of these long list of essential businesses, you can still function for minimum basic operations. All right, so thank you for watching today. This was a list. This is a kind of a disclaimer on what's going on there. I'm going to write something up on it, so that this is kind of all written down. But check out, this is Executive Order 2080 for the stay-at-home. Check it out. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. You can reach out to me. Email's probably best, isaac@ccsklaw.com. Right? I'm Isaac Carr with CCSK, the business attorney, and this is why your business does not necessarily need to shut down just because of the stay-at-home. This is really what it means. Continue to ask any comments if you have any questions or email me. All right, and we'll talk to you here with another update soon.